Picture this. You're standing in a bustling airport, the kind of place where people from all walks of life converge. In the sea of faces, you spot a woman with a baby desperately trying to get its attention. Her soothing voice blends with the hum of the crowd. But amidst that noise, there's an unsettling silence coming from the baby. It's not crying, but it's not responding to her either. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a man strikes up a conversation with her, trying to distract her for a moment. And just like that, she loses focus. She can't keep track of both the baby and the conversation at the same time. And that's when the man makes his move. Swiftly, he takes the phone from her hand while keeping the baby occupied. Now you might be thinking, what's so problematic about that? He just took it briefly to show her something on the screen, right? Well, not quite. He quickly put the phone into his pocket, leaving her none the wiser. The man had only needed a few seconds, just enough time to shift the baby slightly and stuff the phone in his pocket. As soon as the baby looked away, he slipped it in and covered it with his jacket. Now you might wonder, why did he even bother talking to her if he was just going to steal her phone? Well, he chose this particular woman for a reason. If he had just grabbed the phone while she was busy with the baby, she would have noticed. By engaging her in conversation, he successfully diverted her attention, making the theft less conspicuous. This little trick is just the tip of the iceberg. There are plenty of ways that skilled manipulators can make you lose focus without you even realizing it. Now, let's dive deeper into 25 sneaky ways that they make you lose focus. Welcome to our channel, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. No one. They ask you for a small favor. Imagine being asked to perform a simple task like picking up an item from the other side of the room or holding someone else's belongings. While these requests may seem harmless and even friendly, they can actually be calculated moves to gain control over your focus. By getting you to run errands, they subtly shift your attention away from the bigger picture, preventing you from noticing their manipulative tactics. For example, they might use this tactic before asking for something more substantial, banking on the fact that you are now less likely to question their request because you've already done them a small favor. 2. They take advantage of your emotional state. Let's say you're feeling particularly stressed or overwhelmed. Manipulators are experts at capitalizing on your vulnerability. They will intentionally increase the pressure, causing you to lose focus on the bigger problem. For instance, they may start bombarding you with trivial demands or criticizing your performance, knowing that your attention is already divided. This overload of minor stressors overwhelms your cognitive resources, making it harder to maintain focus on the more significant issue at hand. 3. They interrupt you frequently. Picture yourself in the middle of an important task, be it working on a project or having a conversation. Suddenly, someone keeps interrupting you with unimportant matters. These interruptions, though seemingly insignificant on their own, are carefully orchestrated to divert your attention away from what you were originally focused on. Over time, these constant distractions build up, making it increasingly challenging to regain and maintain your focus. It's like trying to assemble a puzzle with someone keeping the pieces scattered. Number 4. They speak too fast. Ever found yourself in a situation where someone is talking rapidly, almost as if they're trying to get through a lot of information in a short amount of time? When someone speaks too fast, especially when it comes to important information, it's often a deliberate attempt to manipulate your focus. At first glance, it might seem like they're just excited or have a lot to say, but in reality, they're trying to overwhelm you. This rapid-fire delivery leaves you struggling to keep up, making it easier for them to steer your attention towards whatever points they want to emphasize without you fully grasping the context. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. No. 5. They change the subject abruptly. Imagine being engaged in a conversation on a particular topic and suddenly the other person veers off into a completely different subject matter. This abrupt shift in conversation, while seemingly random, is a deliberate tactic to manipulate your focus. By changing the subject, they're essentially guiding the narrative away from any potentially uncomfortable or revealing territory into areas that they find more manageable. This sudden redirection prevents you from exploring certain aspects of the conversation that may challenge their agenda or expose their manipulative tendencies. 6. They hide relevant information. Picture this. You're in the middle of planning a project and someone who knows more than they're letting on is involved. This person holds crucial details back, feeding you just enough information to keep you partially informed but never fully. This hidden information, whether intentionally withheld or conveniently forgotten, serves to limit your perspective and understanding. By controlling the information flow, they maintain an upper hand, making it harder for you to anticipate their moves or recognize their manipulative tactics. Think of it as playing a game with a deck of cards where the other person has all the aces up their sleeve. 7. They make promises they don't keep. Imagine entering into an agreement or making plans based on promises that are made to you only for them to be broken, without any consideration for your reliance on those commitments. When someone consistently fails to keep their promises, it's often a tactic to erode your trust and divert your attention away from their manipulative behavior. These broken promises, while disappointing, are designed to make you second-guess their motives and intentions, shifting your focus away from their manipulative tactics and onto trying to understand their actions. 8. They downplay your concerns. Picture yourself voicing a valid concern or raising an issue that needs attention only to be dismissed or minimized by the other person. When your concerns are consistently downplayed or ignored, it's a clear attempt to shift your focus away from potential problems or red flags. By invalidating your feelings, they create a situation where you start questioning your own judgment, making it easier for them to steer the conversation or situation in a direction that benefits them. This can be especially problematic in situations where your intuition is telling you to be cautious. 9. They ignore your body language. Imagine expressing yourself through nonverbal cues such as facial expressions, gestures, or posture only for them to be blatantly ignored. When someone deliberately overlooks your body language, it's a way of disregarding your emotional or communicative cues and steering your attention away from what you are genuinely trying to convey. This intentional oversight can lead to miscommunication and create a barrier between your true intentions and how they perceive you. Number 10. They engage in irrelevant small talk. Picture yourself in a situation where someone engages in excessive irrelevant small talk, steering the conversation away from the topic at hand. When faced with irrelevant small talk, your attention gets diverted from the original subject matter to inconsequential chatter. This intentional distraction serves to shift the focus away from any potentially sensitive or meaningful topics, making it harder to address important issues or concerns. Number 11. They use vague language. Ever encountered someone who uses vague or ambiguous language, leaving you unsure about their intentions or the true meaning behind their words? When confronted with vague language, your attention gets pulled into trying to decipher the meaning or hidden motives behind the words spoken. This intentional obscurity can be used to manipulate your focus away from important details or to conceal manipulative tactics, making it challenging to understand their underlying intentions. Number 12. They project their own traits onto you. Imagine finding yourself labeled with traits or characteristics that you don't possess, often negative ones. When someone projects their own traits onto you, your attention shifts to trying to disprove or explain the inaccuracies of these labels. This intentional misrepresentation serves to divert your focus away from the person's own behavior or issues and towards perceived flaws in you. Number 13. They make you feel guilty. Picture yourself in a situation where someone makes you feel guilty for not complying with their requests or for not meeting their expectations. When faced with guilt-tripping tactics, your attention moves away from the manipulative behavior and towards appeasing or placating the person causing you distress. This emotional manipulation creates a sense of obligation that makes it harder to recognize and resist their tactics. 14. They use flattery excessively. Ever been in a situation where someone heaps excessive flattery upon you, showering you with praise that seems insincere or over the top? When confronted with excessive flattery, your attention gets diverted away from the underlying motives or intentions and towards feeling good or seeking approval. This intentional manipulation can serve to create a false sense of connection or trust, making it harder to recognize any potential red flags or manipulative behavior. Number 15. They give you the runaround. Imagine finding yourself in a situation where someone deliberately gives you the runaround, providing incomplete or misleading information. When faced with a runaround, your attention gets diverted away from finding a solution or resolution and towards deciphering the truth or motives behind the confusing information. This intentional obfuscation can be a tactic to waste your time or prevent you from gaining clarity, making it harder to navigate the situation effectively. Number 16. They use humor to deflect. Ever been in a situation where someone uses humor or jokes to deflect from a serious topic or question? When faced with humor used as a deflection tactic, your attention gets shifted away from the original subject matter or concern and towards the attempt at being lighthearted or funny. This intentional distraction serves to avoid addressing important issues or questions, making it harder to reach a resolution or gain clarity. Number 17. They speak in technical jargon. Imagine being in a conversation with someone who uses technical jargon or complex language, making it difficult to follow or understand. When confronted with technical jargon or convoluted language, your attention gets diverted towards trying to understand the meaning or implications of the words used. This intentional obfuscation can serve to confuse or intimidate you, making it harder to grasp the full context or implications of the conversation. Number 18. They change their tone suddenly. Ever experienced a situation where someone abruptly changes their tone, going from friendly to authoritative or dismissive? For example, when faced with sudden shifts in tone or demeanor, your attention gets redirected towards trying to interpret the meaning behind the change rather than focusing on the original subject matter. This intentional manipulation can create a sense of uncertainty or confusion, making it harder to navigate the conversation or situation effectively. Number 19. They argue in order to win. Imagine being in a discussion with someone who seems more interested in winning an argument than finding a resolution. When faced with someone who argues for the sake of winning, your attention gets diverted away from finding common ground or compromise and towards trying to prove your own perspective. This combative approach to discussions can create a contentious atmosphere that makes it harder to collaborate or find mutually beneficial solutions. Number 20. They blame others for their mistakes. Ever encountered someone who deflects responsibility for their own mistakes by blaming others or external factors? When faced with this tendency to shift blame, your attention gets drawn away from finding solutions or taking accountability, and towards trying to untangle the web of accusations. This tendency to evade responsibility can create a frustrating dynamic that makes it harder to work collaboratively or achieve shared goals. Number 21. They make you feel inferior. Picture yourself in a situation where someone intentionally makes you feel inferior or less capable through derogatory comments or belittling remarks. When faced with attempts to diminish yourself, you stain your competence, your attention shifts away from your own perspective or goals and towards trying to defend yourself or seeking validation. This emotional manipulation aims to erode your confidence, making it harder to stand up for yourself or recognize your own worth. Number 22. They minimize your achievements. Imagine finding yourself in a situation where someone minimizes or downplays your achievements or successes, often with seemingly no good reason. When confronted with the minimization of your accomplishments, your attention gets diverted away from celebrating your successes and towards seeking acknowledgement or understanding. This intentional effort to detract from your achievements can be a tactic to undermine your confidence and divert you from recognizing your own capabilities. Number 23. They give you the cold shoulder. Picture yourself in a situation where someone suddenly becomes unresponsive or distant, giving you the silent treatment. When faced with the cold shoulder, your attention shifts from the original issue or concern to trying to understand the underlying reasons for the sudden change in behavior. This intentional withdrawal can be a tactic to avoid conflict or exert control, making it harder to resolve the initial issue or foster open communication. Number 24. They use threats or intimidation. Ever encountered someone who resorts to threats, intimidation, or fear-mongering to manipulate your actions or decision-making process? When faced with threats or intimidation, your attention gets diverted away from rational thought or objective considerations and towards trying to appease or avoid the source of fear. This intentional use of fear or coercion serves to control your behavior, making it harder to stand up for your own interests or make independent choices. Number 25. They pretend to be confused. Imagine finding yourself in a situation where someone pretends to be confused or unaware, often as a way to avoid or deflect from an issue or request. When confronted with feigned confusion or ignorance, your attention shifts from the original subject matter to trying to clarify or explain things. This intentional act of misdirection can be a tactic to stall, evade responsibility, or manipulate the situation in their favor. If you've made it this far, you're clearly not the kind of person who gets intimidated easily. So here's a bonus tip. They make you feel like you owe them something. Have you ever felt like you owe someone something without fully understanding why? Perhaps you've done them a small favor weeks ago, and now they're expecting you to drop everything for them. Or maybe you've been stuck in a conversation with them, and now they expect you to listen to their every word. Whatever the case may be, it's essential to recognize when someone is trying to manipulate you by making you feel indebted to them. By understanding this tactic, you can free yourself from the pressure of unnecessary obligations and focus on your own priorities. And if you want to dive deeper into the world of human behavior, We've got another video that's guaranteed to keep you on the edge of your seat. The next 25 things that only narcissists do. See you next time.